Hello everyone, it is Alex, conservative coin collector. Happy Saturday. And today's video is going to be about this presidential dollar. Presidential dollars have been on my mind recently because Jimmy Carter passed away and he's going to be the next one to get his face on a coin. But it usually takes about 5 years after death, so not really until 2030. This is a 2070 George Washington $1 coin, first day of issue. Getting a closer view of this image, it's nowhere near perfect condition. And the ones that are worth money are in MS67 perfect condition. In regular condition, you may only get like $2 or $3 for it, which $2 is like a 100% markup compared to the $1 coin, which you're coming up ahead anyway. But in MS67 condition, you can be about $350 richer if you have one of these coins. This may not be one of the $1 million coins that I have some Kid 8 coins from every denomination you need to look out for. On the penny, you need to look out for the 1909S and the 1909S VDB, along with the 1914D, the 1922 plain, and the 1931S. As Kid 8 nickels you should look for are 1964 and 64, 1938, 1939 D and S, 1942D, and one very close to my heart, 1950D. When it comes to Roosevelt dimes, there isn't much in the way of key dates, but what I could find are 1949S and a 1955 regular D and S. You also should look for silver, which these key dates actually are, so two birds, one stone. The only quarter I could find with a key date is the 1932 quarter, the first year the Washington quarter was ever minted. Both the D. Today's coin I'm covering is a Canadian penny, but it's the Canadian penny, one of the most valuable out there. It is a 1936 dot Canadian penny. A lot of the Canadian pennies that I find, Young Heads and King Georges, the most they have ever been is maybe 50 cents a dollar, but this penny is way more. Only about 678,823 were ever minted, and today only a handful are known to exist. Dot pennies in general at auction sell for 6 figures, but this one is the one that sold for the most. The last time this penny sold at auction was at 2010. It sold for a grand total of $402,500. Today, I want to show you 2 US cents that I have. This is a US cent, and this is another US cent. But this one looks so much bigger than this one. That's because this is a regular size small cent, and this is a large cent, which a large cent is roughly the size of half a dollar, and about 100% copper, and as you can see, very, very old. I have a little bit of history I want to share with you. When America was first founded, this was the size of a US cent. And you may be noticing I'm not saying penny. That's because America never had a penny. That's a British thing. This is a 1922 $10 gold certificate large size. It's worth about $1 million. This is a $5 Indian Chief large silver certificate. It's worth $1.2 million. This is an 1899 large size silver certificate. In the right condition, it could be worth $2.4 million. This is a 1928 $20 gold certificate. It can be worth $2.7 million. This banknote is from Fiji. It's a 1969 20-pound color trial. In the right condition, it can be worth $3.9 million. The last dollar bill I have for you is an 1890 grand watermelon. The zeros on the back of this $1,000 bill look like watermelons. That's why it's called that. Only 5 of these exist today, and in the right condition, they sold at auction for well over $3 million. This coin is $4, and we'll call her Stella. It is the coin America forgot about. It was only minted in 1879 and 1880. It was originally minted as a coin tied to the Latin Monetary Union standards in preparation for a possible U.S. entry to the Union. 2 varieties of the Stella coins were made, and this is one of them. The other one had flowing hair. The coins were designed by George T. Morgan and Charles E. Barber. Similar to the Gobrecht dollar, many catalogs list this coin as a regular issue item. being it's so rare, it's also very... Today's coin I have for you is the smallest denomination coin ever minted. Here's the front of it, and here's the back of it. It's called the quarter farthing. And the quarter farthing was minted in 1839, 1851, 52, and 53. How small is it? It is not half, not a quarter, but it's 1/16 of a penny. It is 192 times less than a shilling. It is also 3,840 times less value than a pound. Aside from a couple proof bronze coins, the British made these mostly out of copper. Interesting fact, they were never legal tender in the United Kingdom. They are fractions of the British farthing, which was currency in Cleon, and traditionally have been categorized as British coinage. Pretty cool, right? But look, today I have for you the 1880 shield nickel. Little history. The treasurer had a large stock of nickels in storage, and all these small numbers were struck from 1880, and then full-scale production began again December 12, 1881. How many of these shield nickels were minted in 1880? Quite a few, but not as many as you would think. If it's under 10 million minted, it's considered rare, and there were only 16,000 of these coins ever minted. With that being said, how much do you think you could get for one if only 16,000 were minted in 1880? In the right condition, let's say you find one in MS-64 condition. It'd be $40,000. But MS-66 condition can bring up to $125,000 for those 140. And here I have for you a 1965 quarter. Here is one in much better condition, if I can move myself around and short myself here. 1965 is the first year that quarters were clad. They took silver out in 1964. However, some 1965 quarters that are made of silver can remain. There are very, very few of them, so the chance of finding one is slim to none. But let's say you do find one. If you find one in this quarter's condition, it's only worth about 85 cents. But if you find one in uncirculated condition, this quarter is a little more than 85 cents. Even more than $85. It can be worth $5,250 in the right condition if you find a 1965 silver quarter. That's absolutely insane. I'm Triple C. Thank you for watching. Bye. In today's video, I have a relatively new coin I want to talk about. It is this. This is a speared buffalo. It is a 2005D speared buffalo Jefferson quarter. And granted, a lot of my coins I'll talk about are pre-2005. A lot of them pre-1505, but this is the newest quarter you should look out for. Granted, 2005 is going on 20 years ago, which it doesn't seem possible. It seems like 2005 was only like 2 years ago, but again, what do I know? It is a die chip error that is on the buffalo here. You can see how it looks like it's a spear going through the buffalo's body. Hello everybody, it is Alex, the Coin Collector. I am chilling with my dog today, as you can see. I switched to my living room, and I wanted my dog to be in the video with me the whole time, but I would have gotten licked to death, so that's not happening. In fact, now he's in his bed just snoring away. Today's video is about a very famous and very controversial coin, the 1964 D piece dollar. Now, there's no visual representation because there are no photos known of this piece dollar, but here's potentially what it would look like. Front of it, back of it, and I'm sure there'd be a D mint mark somewhere. How about a little backstory? Go back to May 1965, and the piece dollars, there were only... Hope you're all having a good Wednesday. Here, in this baggie, I have 1 troy ounce of silver. It's got Trump's head on the one end and an eagle on the back end. Why am I showing you this 1 troy ounce of silver? Because silver is at $33 an ounce right now. And that is cheap compared to some metals that you can buy per ounce right now. What are some of the more expensive metals that make silver look like it's cheaper than aluminum? I have a few. The first metal I have on the list is platinum. Along with jewelry and the mint actually selling platinum coins, a popular use for it is catalytic converters in cars. This here is what was known as the Big Maple Leaf. This coin was 220 pounds of solid gold and had a face value of about $1 million. It was held in the Bode Museum in Berlin, Germany. Why am I referring to this coin in past tense, you may ask? Because this coin was stolen. In the early hours of March 27th, 2017, a big maple leaf, or the big maple leaf rather, was stolen from this museum. Somehow, thieves managed to break into this museum and steal a 220-pound solid gold coin. Unfortunately, it'll probably never be found because it was probably melted down into more manageable chunks and then sold off that way. I just got off of work. It's time to relax now. And over the past few days, I've found 2 coins that I think they're worth mentioning on my channel here. I have a gold-plated nickel and a penny from 1919. You may be asking yourself, Triple C, what is with these coins? Are they worth anything? Are they good? I have answers for both. First things first, the gold-plated nickel. Even though it is gold-plated, you can still see some damage. It's definitely been circulated. And when it comes to gold-plated nickels, even gold-plated coins in general, let's say you want to take it to a coin dealer, they're not going to give you anything for it. They're considered damaged. And let's say the gold plating is minimal. This is the Fujio set. About 9 months ago, I did a video on showing you how to determine if it was real or not. But in the video, I never showed you the true value of it, so I'm going to do that now. One thing I want to get out of the way before telling you the value is we never had a penny. It's never been a penny. It's always been the cent. Penny is a British thing. We have the US cent. That being said, what is the value of one of these? I've looked around online and I'm not really getting a specific set value, but what I'm seeing is at the lowest it could be about $250, at the highest over $600,000. Granted, there are fakes and copper and silver rounds with the designs that are cheaper, but I recently did a video on the 2025 proof set, and like the proof sets of the previous years that celebrate 5 different women. You may be asking yourself, who are these women and why are they on the quarters this year? Well, I'm gonna tell you. The first woman on this list would be Ida B. Wells, born on July 16, 1982, and she passed March 25, 1931. She was an American investigative journalist, sociologist, educator, and early leader in the civil rights movement. She was also one of the founders of the NAACP. The second lady being honored is Juliette Gordon. These are my Morgan dollars. They're worth a few bucks with the silver content alone, but they're not the Morgan dollars worth the most money. What are they? This is a 1995 Morgan dollar. The most it can be worth is $175,000. If said Morgan dollar has an O or an S mint mark, it can be worth up to $700,000. This is the reverse of an 1889 CC or a Carson City Morgan dollar. They can be worth up to $1.2 million. This Morgan dollar is from 1884 and it has an S mint mark. This one has the most extreme worth. They all do, but this one's even more extreme. On the low end, they can be $34, and on the very tippy-top high end, $1.25 million. The last Morgan dollar I have for you is from 1893, and it has an S. Say hello to my dog. Hello. My dog is not the focus of today's video, although I think my channel would be a lot more successful if I switched to dogs, but I digress. Today's video idea is inspiration from a video, or a short rather, that one of my YouTube coin collecting people that I watch, Rob Vine's Treasure, did. There's a website that can show you the value of just Benjamin Franklin. He is the one responsible for engraving the Fugio cent. This here is George T. Morgan. He is the one that designed my favorite coin of all time, the Morgan dollar. This guy here is Charles E. Barber. He's the one responsible for making all those early 1900s Barber coins. This is Victor David Brenner. He's the artist responsible for the portrait of Lincoln on all the cents from 1909 onwards. This is Christian Goldricht. He was the Mint's third engraver, and he's responsible for the famous City Liberty designs, and he also inspired the Flying Eagle cent. This last person I have for you is Augustus St. Gaudens. He is known for the Eagle coins, and the most famous one. And Easter is in 3 days. Easter is such an important holiday because it's the day we celebrate Jesus coming back from the dead. He was a perfect man. He was God who came down, put the skin of man on, and sacrificed his life for ours. He didn't have to do that, but he did, and that's no words can describe how great of a sacrifice that was. I can relate Easter to coin collecting because the start of it is when Judas Iscariot betrays Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. The Bible mentions that it's just 30 pieces of silver, but the exact coin is called the shekel of Tyre. This is what the shekel of Tyre looks like. And turns out, not all hope is lost when it comes to the modern cent. Yes, they have been discontinued, but there's a 2023 cent you need to look out for. All cents have the initials VDB for Victor David Brenner. He's the one that brought Lincoln on the penny to begin with. But the error is somebody else carved a V. A Mint employee carved another V where there shouldn't be. And this Mint error is actually bringing some serious money. It's still relatively brand new, and we have yet to know how many of these errors are, but I'm seeing these VDB V coins selling for $60 to $70 for a 2023 clad cent, which is crazy. If you find one, let me know. Thanks. And I got to thinking, the newest coin that I covered that had an error was from 2023. But how many new or newer coins actually have errors that I can actually cover in a YouTube short? I only have 3, so it's not many. Some of the cents that I could cover went back to the 90s, and there's a 1955 double die, and I found some dimes and some half dollars that were also on the older side. But quarters were the ones that didn't disappoint. The 2004 D Wisconsin quarter is one of those coins with an error. That's a regular one. And there's one with the extra leaf. It's quite easy to see. I recently got myself a 3-cent piece while I was on vacation. Now, I got to thinking, what is the most valuable 3-cent piece I can find? This is an 1872 3-cent piece. Mine is from 1851. But in 1872, only 1,000 of these were ever minted. Let's see, find one of these, and it's in perfect condition. Let's say MS66 condition. That is a $20,000 3-cent piece. $20,000 for something that was considered 3 cents back in 1872. That is pretty wild. This 3-cent piece is pretty valuable no matter what condition it's in. If it's an MS50 condition, it's $3,000. And if it's MS68 condition, it could be worth $75,000. So January 2nd, 2024 was the last time I found a proof coin here would work, and it was in my car and became one of my most viewed shorts of all time. Turns out, now, today, July 3rd, 2025, is the day that I found another proof coin. You see that S mint mark? That S mint mark means it is a proof quarter from 2001. So not only is it a proof, it's also from quite an old set as well. I think I have the 2001 proof set as well, so I have the original of this, but for whatever reason the set got broke up. And I recently did a video of every cent from Fujio all the way up to 2025. And covering it, in the very beginning there were large cents, and in the very end there are small cents. And the small cent, the first small cent was the Flying Eagle cent. I could talk about dimensions and show you examples, but I actually have a large cent and a small cent to show you, to actually show you the difference between the two of them. This here is a large cent from 1853. You can see on the back it's got 1 cent, United States of America, and this used to be the size of the average cent. Back when the large cents first came out, their value was 1